Welcome to the Swoop, BG Falcon Media's live sports talk show. Fun fact, the last time the Swoop aired was in spring of 2018. That's more than 6 years ago, before anybody at this desk was here. And what a time to be back. There is so much happening with the sports at BGSU and in college sports in general. I'm your host, Chaz McNeil. I'm joined here by Ben Korak and Wyatt Broadbar, Falcon Media Sports Network analysts. Thank you guys for joining me today.
It's going to be fun, Chaz. Hopefully we'll have a good first show and get this thing going.
Pleasure to be here. I'm excited.
With that, the Swoop had the opportunity to sit down with a Miami Heat broadcaster, Jason Jackson, while he was in town for homecoming. Jason graduated here in 1994, a very long time ago. He worked as a student news director, he was an anchor, and he was a talk show host, all at the campus radio station. He spent more than 20 years on the Miami Heat as a part of their broadcast team. So we've got a piece of the full feature of Jason Jackson.
Is there something that you wish you would have known during your time at Bowling Green, or maybe when you're just starting out in your young professional career, that you wish you knew, that's something that you know now?
The only reason I'm hesitating is that I really knew what I was getting into. I loved the people who did what I do. And so I was prepared to be loved by the people. And the people that didn't love it oftentimes don't say anything to you, not to your face at least. So you can kind of float around thinking, everybody digs you and the work that you do. So I'm always honest about the performance part of this. If you want to be in front of these microphones and cameras, you are a performer. And if you are a performer, you crave people watching you perform. And I very much enjoy that part of it and the exchange that comes with it. So I take seriously my preparation for it so that I'm not wasting their time.
If you wish to watch the full hour-long interview with Jason Jackson, you can go to bgfalconmedia.com to watch the entire package. Meeting Jason Jackson was genuinely amazing. One of the best parts of homecoming, hands down. The amount of opportunities he gave us was huge. But with that being said, that was probably the best thing to come out of homecoming, with Bowling Green football arguably being one of the worst. They lost their third straight game of the season at home during homecoming. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, they did. Old Dominion University, it was truly heartbreaking for Bowling Green football fans. You play great games against Penn State and Texas A&M that you were a touchdown away. You feel like you could have come around with the game if some things had fallen your way. Then you head into Old Dominion, a team that you definitely should have beat, and you just weren't able to get it done. And it just truly heartbreaking for Bowling Green football fans.
Yeah, like you said, heartbreaking. I was there in front of the student section there, and just the energy was drained out of that place once that happened. Just the defense going to hold up at the end there. It was embarrassing, really.
And they have Akron coming up. That's a very big game. That is a get-right game for the Falcons. We mentioned Harold Fannin a little bit. Harold Fannin has been getting the job done, but they need their other pieces to get going, and that's up to Coach Scott Loeffler. But another coach that has been getting a lot of talk in the news recently, brand new Bowling Green head coach Dennis Williams, or Willie. Ben, you got the opportunity to talk to Willie. Tell us a little bit about BG's hockey program.
Yeah, Willie, he's just a phenomenal guy. He's a great personality, kind of two different personalities on and off the ice. On the ice, he's a little bit more harsh. He's more intense, and that's good for a team. And then off the ice, he's personable as well. If you ever get to meet Willie, you'll know immediately. And I think one of the huge things about him is just his charisma and his personality kept a lot of players around. This was a team that we felt could be good down the line last year. Then they lost their head coach. We didn't know what was going to happen. There was potential that some guys transfer out, and not a single player transferred out. We had 2 players leave, but that was due to graduation. We brought in 6, so the core players are still there, new players to come. Going to be a fantastic year.
Yeah, and that defense has stayed strong too. I spoke to Scardina and Moore, and both of them have emphasized how Williams has really put a big emphasis on being a grittier play style, trying to be a team that no one wants to play against.
Yeah, Colmore is definitely one that I want to mention. 2.87 goals allowed, 26.21 saves per game. That's third in the CCHA, and a .918 save percentage was second in the CCHA, and he was a freshman. There was a lot of places he could have gone, and Willie was able to keep him in Bowling Green in town. Great thing for Bowling Green hockey fans as well.
Well, we have to touch on that a little bit because the fact that Willie came in and didn't lose a single player is insane. It is genuinely insane with how much was going on, the playoff history not being as good as you'd expect for Bowling Green hockey, a team that has won a national championship in the past. That is huge. You mentioned there's a lot of young faces on this team that can get going. There's also a lot of older faces. I feel like this is a good roster to start building on, especially for just Bowling Green hockey in general. Get things right, get things going. But there's a lot of good athletes on hockey, but there's one athlete this week that stood out among the rest, and that is Mia Tyler. Mia Tyler was one of those players for Bowling Green volleyball that has just busted out onto the scene. Tyler earns the nod this week for Athlete of the Week after what she did with Ball State this weekend. During the trip to Muncie, Tyler tallied a season high in kills with 17 last Friday. So far this season, the senior outside hitter from Louisville, Kentucky, has 122 kills through 50 sets, which puts her second on the team behind opposite Lauren Hovey. To read more about Mia Tyler, check out bgfalconmedia.com to read the entire article. Now it's time, we got to look ahead to next week's Athlete of the Week. We've got a couple of very solid projections going. I'm going to open up. Amanda Otten is my choice for Athlete of the Week. She hit a career high in assists with 53 against Toledo, and going up into a game against Western Michigan, that is going to be a very big test for them.
And something you don't want to miss out as well is just Amanda Otten's versatility, her ability to get kills, digs, and blocks as well. My Athlete of the Week, it's the first weekend of hockey. I'm going to choose a hockey athlete. It's going to be Ryan O'Hara. He was the leading scorer for the Falcons last year on the ice, 10 goals, 8 assists. He was injured later in the season, so he was one of the highest scorers on the Falcons, and he didn't play the entire year, about 10 less games than Bowling Green had scheduled. Coming into we have a lot of new centers on the Falcon hockey team. He's a winger, so getting the ball, or the puck, I should say, to the wingers is going to be really key for scoring because the centers are going to be getting used to their new position.
Yeah, I'm saying give me the bully, Terrion Stewart. I mean, come on. Akron has allowed so much on the run. Every single team they've played against, 13 rushing touchdowns and 1,000-plus rushing yards. I mean, they're like the Akron treadmills. I mean, really, they're going to run on all game. And Stewart's averaged 6.2 yards per carry throughout his career. It's the most in the program ever. It's just someone that you don't want to have to defend against, really.
Okay, so let's talk about this a little bit. We've got our Athletes of the Week all pulled up. Very good descriptions by both of you guys, but I got to give it to Amanda Otten. With how Bowling Green is going into this matchup against Western Michigan, Otten, a setter, is going to have to set up some very big plays. The Falcons, their offense needs to get going. Lauren Hovey, Mia Tyler, who just won Athlete of the Week. Those are the players that are going to step up, but it all starts with Otten.
It definitely does, and Western Michigan is a rematch of the MAC championship from last year. And Amanda Otten's the person that distributes the ball and getting the ball to different hitters, especially middle blockers, Alexis Mattil and Jessica Andrews as well, is going to be huge coming into probably the biggest weekend for any BG sports.
Yeah, I mean, that Western Michigan game is huge. I know the Ohio State game had a huge amount of people there, but this is a really important game for them to get to and win.
Definitely, both games will be huge.
Okay, Ben, defend your pick. Let's hear it.
Yeah, Ryan O'Hara, I mean, like I said, he's a winger. There's a lot of new players, 6 new forwards. They lost 2 centers as well, so we're going to see some new centers on the 4 lines for the Falcons. He's a winger, and he's very experienced. He's a senior and a captain as well. They're going to be leaning on him for scoring. Willie loves, or head coach Dennis Williams, he loves to get pucks onto the net, and he likes a lot of scoring. And getting a guy who was your leading scorer last year to get going early in the season is going to be really huge for Bowling Green going forward and for this weekend against Mercyhurst as well.
Yeah.
So that I feel like that's good enough for Athlete of the Week. Terrion, we know he's going to absolutely blow through Akron, hopefully.
It's just such a position for him to like really go crazy on him.
So with that, that's all we have. So coming up, we're going to have Lathan Chapman with your BG Sports updates only on the Swoop.
Reporting for the Swoop, I'm Lathan Chapman. The women's soccer team took a trip down to Oxford to take on the Miami Redhawks. It was a defensive showdown until the 55th minute when Bowling Green's Lexi Serwin recorded her third goal of the year. With their back against the wall, the Redhawks' Taylor Hamlet managed to tie the game with 4 minutes left. Leaving the game in a tie, the Falcons now sit at 5-3-2 on the year with a conference matchup against Northern Illinois on the horizon. They look to remain positive in conference play. Looking on the other side of soccer, the men's team continued their winning ways against Belmont, blanking the Bruins 1-0 to remain undefeated at home. Trace Terry was the star of the show, scoring the game's only goal in the 39th minute. Terry was assisted by sophomore middle Jake Lane. This goal was Terry's 9th goal of the year, putting him 1 goal away from being the first double-digit scorer since 2014. The Orange and Brown are now 8-1-1 on the season, with Belmont falling to 2-4-3. Bowling Green is looking to stay hot as they continue conference play in Chicago against UIC this Saturday. Moving on to volleyball, the Falcons are 3-0 in MAC play following a series sweep at Ball State this past weekend in a midweek battle of I-75 against the Rockets. The Orange and Brown traveled to Savage Arena on Tuesday, where they found themselves falling down 2-0 early in the match. Bowling Green managed to wrestle momentum back from Toledo, taking the third set convincingly, 25-18. BG remained in control for the fourth set up until the set point when Toledo won on a 5-0 run to tie. The Falcons would still pull away, winning 26-24, forcing a fifth set. With the game on the line, BGSU went on a 6-0 run to secure their reverse sweep, keeping them perfect in 5-set matches. The Falcons will continue MAC play against Western Michigan at the Stroh Center on Friday and Saturday. I'm Lathan Chapman reporting for the Swoop. Stick around for the wrap-up, where you'll find information on upcoming sports events.
And it looks like that will do us for the inaugural episode of The Swoop. But before we go, we do have a very loaded schedule coming up this weekend, as hockey's going to drop puck at Mercyhurst on the 5th and 6th, with both games starting at 7:07 p.m. Volleyball will open up against Western Michigan at 6 p.m. on Friday in a rematch of the 2023 MAC Tournament Championship, where the Falcons got bounced right at the end. The second match will take place the next day at 4 p.m. Men's soccer travel on the road Saturday. They're scheduled for an 8 p.m. game against UIC in Chicago. That one should be actually a really nice 75 degrees. So if you can go to Chicago, do it. Football this weekend is going to be at the Doit, and they close out our athletic slate of the weekend. They will take on Akron in the MAC opener, and it's going to be at Doit Perry Stadium. So with that, have a phenomenal week. Don't forget to check out bgfalconmedia.com. We've got a ton of stories, ton of features. We will have so much more information coming up in the next parts of the week. But, you know, I do think there is something we have to talk about. We talked about the schedule. Let's talk about what are your guys' games of the week.
Yeah, so for me, I think it's very easy football. I think coming off of 3 straight losses, Penn State, Texas A&M, and then Old Dominion, you have to get the first one in the MAC. You just absolutely have to. And the matchup favors you as well. Terrion Stewart against not great run defense. I'm definitely taking football as my game of the week.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to say I agree as well there, yeah.
I'm going to be different. Give me volleyball. MAC Tournament Championship. Can we be honest about this? But that's all we got for today. So be sure to check in and swoop in next time.